Salute Squad. Welcome back to another episode of Fly High Productions. We follow up. Hey, so check this out. Today, we got Boosie. Yeah, the Boosie been indicted yet again on gun charges, drug and gun charges. Then we got the YFN Lucci shooting footage. Along with that, the 911 phone call that was made shortly after. Uh, we got a St. Louis rapper, Stone. Seems like St. Louis is spinning the block, bringing it right on back around, jumping right back in the game. And last but not least, Keefe D back in the courtroom today. Y'all know the alleged Tupac's alleged killer. He back in the courtroom today, and he's spazzing out on the defense attorneys. But we're gonna get right on into it and see what Boosie talking about. Speed her. This article was brought to us by the Advocate. I say Baton Rouge rapper Thorns. Boosie has been indicted again on gun charges for drug show. Earlier this month, the judge dismissed the gun charge against Hatch, who previously performed under the name Lil Boosie and Boosie Badass. Hatch was charged in San Diego with being a felon in possession of a firearm in June 2023 after being arrested during a traffic stop. He had been scheduled for a show at the Phantom Lounge near downtown San Diego, but was arrested about 5 miles from the music venue when police found 2 handguns in the vehicle he was riding. Among other arrests, Hatch had previously served time in prison after 2009 felony convictions for gun drug charges. In a post on the social platform in a post to the social platform X, previously known as Twitter, Hatch expressed outrage at the new indictment. In quotations, he said, in a Boosie Badass voice, "Man, I'm on vacation with my family and a lawyer called me and say this federal prosecutor, M. Wheat, has indicted me again on the same charge and added a charge," he wrote. "Why you didn't charge me with that the first time? The judge is rude. At this point, you making a circus. You just making this a circus. This has to be unconstitutional." There it is, the post that he made on X. If y'all didn't know, man, Boosie had just beat his charge, right? I'm still here. But yeah, man, Boosie had just beat a charge for the firearm that they had on them in the video. And I don't know how you can prove that as evidence. Yeah, it's a picture of him or a video of him, but no serial number showing up in this video or pictures. And I don't see how you can convict nobody on the pictures with many artificial guns we got out here. Could have been a prop. This is what I think Boosie said. I ain't sure what he said to beat that case. It kind of slid on the radar on me. But it looks like feds can pick that case back up on him, which they do often. They'll let you slide on that state. Feds come right back around. After they done their homework and indict you again on that same case. We all know when the feds come around, it sticks. They say when it's up. When the feds come, it's up and it's stuck. Then, man, I just don't understand how. I don't understand how these boys just don't go sit down. Like at some point, man, you would think that it'd come to them. Like I ain't got to be out here, but I'm out here for. I'm only increasing my chances of this being my downfall. But we all gotta. I guess it's the hood credibility part of it that I think they try to prove. Now, this one hurts. It's a crazy one to me, man. You got your boy Lucci. YFN Lucci, right? It's the first Maybach of the year in the USA. And do a drive-by. Nah, I can't make this shit up, man. On the day that he received this video, or I mean, not the video, the day he received the Maybach, is the same day that he do the drive-by, allegedly. Here's the footage, man. I know y'all like, man. Follow up. Let's see the footage. You wrapping up. First Maybach, man. Like, might as well went on and turned yourself in after you did that one. Cause you the only one with this Maybach in the US of A. In USA, man, you the only you see the first one. And you decide to take it to the hood. First of all, you know it's gonna stand out. We're gonna do a drive-by in the Maybach. Everybody on this Maybach when they come down the block. Look at this block, man. That he coming down. Everybody on this Maybach. As soon as they hit the corner. Because in the hood, you want to know who in that Maybach. Then if it come down, you know, them dark tinted windows, you know, antennas go up at that point. But check this out, man. This is the footage. I don't know what this SUV has to do with anything, but I believe once the gunshots kicked off, somebody jumped out the driver's side of this black SUV and started gunning back. The guy her seemed to be wiping his ride down. And we got a couple of cats over her, and we don't know what's off camera. I don't know, is that somebody in the doorway there? Might be somebody in the doorway right there. Okay. Now, that SUV just pulled up. Evidently, old boy know him because he ain't tripping off him. He's still wiping his car. And you're going to see in a second her right there. Is the Maybach. Instantly. Antennas up. Antennas up. With these boys on. Antennas up on this Maybach. Now, behind the Maybach, which is probably, you know, somebody more Lucci guy. It's gonna be a black car, singing like he's traveling. They come through with all the windows down. I don't know what this 12/10, December 20th, right? It can't be. It got to be one of them nice weather days in December though, cause boy ain't got on no coat. Got on long sleeves, but he don't have on no coat, and he wiping his car down. Anyway, let's go. There you see this car right here, this black car right here, seems to be trailing Lucci. These boys own them. They own them. They own them. They own them. They watching this and they talking about drive by. And I'm not trying to cite no rides. I ain't trying to improve nobody or make nobody no improved criminal out here or none of the above. I'm just using common sense right now. Now, as I said, you see these boys on this Maybach, which is standing out in the hood. It's gonna stand out in the hood like a sore thumb. So they already own him, right? This is this is where the shots allegedly come from. Not allegedly. The dude jumped out the back seat right here on the driver's side, started gunning. I think as the video go along, Somebody on the passenger side open up the door and start shooting. But you see how these boys is on the Maybach. If they were smart, you would think this would be the gun. Because the attention is there. The attention is on the white Maybach. You see the heads, you see the body language. You only see the sides of these cats now, right? Because they done turned around. They already on this. I don't know nothing been said or not, you know what I mean? But the focus is there. All right, but we gonna let it run. I ain't, you know, I'm on and off that. And the boys going on down. All right, it's gonna be another video coming in, and evidently this is from a doorbell ring, right? And it pick up on the other video. It captured YFN Lucci pulling over and the guy jumping up. That's both. That's both the cars right there. It's YFN Lucci allegedly, and the car that was trailing him, right? I lost focus of the car that was trailing not the dude jump out the car, but I'm gonna pay attention to that this time. Okay, he pull over. He with them. He with them. Anybody in the hood, man. Well, first of all, let me just say this. Anybody in the hood already know the way them boys pulled up was awful suspicious. They creeping. We already watching you. We watching you as you creep on past, and then you and the other car pull over. So now we know the other car with you now. Me myself, man. And it's just my personal opinion, man. The way this went down, they were supposed to get caught up because you get you the first one in the USA that got this Maybach right? That ain't gonna be hard to find. When they run uh, police files and try to figure out who got the Maybach, it's only gonna be one name that pop up. That's gonna be quick, fast, and easy for them. Anyway, let's let it ride, man. Like I say, man, they pull over now. We look like we got them on the doorbell ring down. Somebody can exit this door right there. Now, if you see it, he got out. Look like he got some type of assault, something. But this is the same guy now. If you know anything about uh, the YFN Lucci case, allegedly, I'm tripping, y'all. Let me get you back down to let me put y'all back in the game where you can see something, huh? All right, like I say, YFN Lucci, man, that case was said that they went on a little drive-by spree or whatnot, and one of the guys gets shot with them, right? I know You heard anything about YFN Lucci case? You heard that somebody with them got shot and they pushed them out the car, right? That's allegedly the guy that shot and they pushed out the car right there. Now, seems like the footage is matching up to what was the story that was being told. All right, let me keep it moving. All right, like two shots went off. They was already alert. Look like his hand is up already. He firing back already. These boys took cover. He hit already. I'm still firing. Might be hit right there though. It looked like he kind of went limp a little bit after that second shot. Or that last shot. See how he looked like his leg falling out the truck. The driver had to hesitate. If the driver was supposed to be YFN Lucci. But yeah, and these boys down her, this got her anyway. Looked like he was already firing back. Cause they was alert, man. When they come down the block, they first you in a Maybach, in the hood, then you creep. Until you run on around. No, I don't think nobody got out there. Or if he did, it was earlier. Man, looked like this guy here firing back. We're gonna run that one more time, without the commentary. And I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. Okay, so feet pull up. Boys over here shooting the shit. Maybach pull up instantly. The guy is on him. Look, he's just wiping the hair right now. Okay, that's the guy that was seen over there. He come from, that's the dude that was in the darker jumpsuit. You see him in the bushes, come out the bushes over here. This little silhouette. And somebody right there run off the porch for whatever reason, which don't seem too smart to me. Seem like they've been trying to take cover. Bullets don't have no names. All right, anyway, check this out. I'm gonna say this too, man. Uh, that wasn't too smart of you, Lucci. That wasn't too smart of you at all, bro. Like, It had to be off of impulse. I don't know if them boys said nothing to you. You was going down there to say something to them boys, but whatever the case, that wasn't too smart, man. Uh, and apparently, oh man, give me a second, squad. I just deleted the 911 audio, but anyway, back to what I was saying. Apparently, Fonnie Willis done wrote a recommendation that Lucci get out on bond or get out early. And don't quote me on that because I ain't quite did my homework. It's just YouTube Street. I picked that up from, but here we go. But if that's the case, added the emergency. We need I want to know, but because you know, Fonnie Willis said she was coming down on all the games, right? And in Atlanta, anyway. And she, was in YFN allegedly a game. Why she picking and choosing which games? There's something else I was thinking about. It was said that Fonnie Willis was supposed to have been messing with Nut, old Donovan Thomas, uh, which is one of the homicides that they trying to put on Young Thug over there in the YSL case, right? And it's all starting to make more sense now. Why they so adamant about? Now I figured it out. Like why they was pressing uh, Kenny Copeland, aka Woody, so hard, right? And that was because they wanted to get, you know, his story on the Donovan Thomas, right? Because he was, those interrogations that they had. They had like he had like three interrogations that I seen, and in one of them he mentions, they questioning him about the Donovan Thomas. So they want to get that out in trial. But I was like, why they why they pressing on this one homicide so much, right? But if this is the guy that Fonnie was supposed to have been dealing with allegedly, the light went off like ding. Like, okay. That's what we doing here. We we gonna make sure that the guy that she was messing with allegedly This killer is caught for sure. She bringing justice to that homicide. Not gonna take one of mine. And now, I'm paraphrasing. I'm just saying it's probably what she thinking. But anyway, we now take this out. Getting back to YFN Lucci. It's the 911 phone call that day.
After the emergency. We need an ambulance. Somebody is laying out. I don't know if he barely. Let me connect you. Stay on the line. He said somebody just threw him out of the car. Let me connect you to the ambulance. Huh? He's still trying to fight for his life. EMS, what's the address of the emergency? Baby, can y'all please get an ambulance here? This man is dying. He's shot in the head. He just took his last breath, man. What street are you on, ma'am? Can you give him your location, please, for the ambulance to give the guy some help? What is his address? Man, this man just took his last breath, man.
That's the 911 phone call that came in. And I was wondering, we seen the footage of that person that was running out there, the one house. And I was saying I would have been running for cover. I wonder, is that the person that made the 911 phone call? Let's listen to it one more time, y'all.
That's the emergency. We need an ambulance. Somebody is laying out. I don't know if he barely. Let me connect you. Stay on the line. He said somebody just threw him out of the car. Let me connect you to the ambulance. Huh? He's still trying to fight for his life. EMS, what's the address of the emergency? Baby, can y'all please get an ambulance here? This man is dying. He's shot in the head. He just took his last breath, man. What street are you on, ma'am? Can you give him your location, please, for the ambulance to give the guy some help? What is his address? Man, this man just took his last breath, man. Man, we have.
It was the 911 phone call though, from the YFN Lucci. Anyway, man, we on and we off that. And apparently, man, St. Louis is spinning the block again when it comes to the rap game. We got Boy Stone out of St. Louis. And, jumping off the porch, explaining what it's like in the streets of St. Louis, man. And we're gonna see what's to it.
You are too.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
What's up, man? It's Stone.
You say this too, man. Shout out to Off the Porch.
I just jumped off the porch today, good bastard.
Boy Stone jumping off the porch with us today. Welcome, bro.
What's up with you, man?
I'm feeling good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. God good, for real.
Nah, definitely, man. Every day's a blessing, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. So I appreciate you pulling up on us today, too, man.
for sure. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. So, shout out your boy sitting back there today, too, man.
Yeah, that's my little cub, man. He been with me through every step, the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I dig that, man.
Yeah, he with me for a reason.
Okay. So what have you been working on here in Atlanta, or are you just in and out with it, or?
Shit, I just came from Miami, fucking with Sexy. You know, we from the same city.
Okay.
Shit, yeah, I just here. I'm finna go back to the city tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was it like down there in Miami? She shot the video in what, Broward County? Was you down there for that?
Yeah, Broward County, Shake Your Dreads, yeah. It was turned, I ain't gonna fake it. They showed love, they came out, supported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like the whole, was it Oakland City, right? Yeah, like the whole Broward County came out to support that shit, man.
Yeah. They fuck with Sexy, ain't gonna fake it, they love her.
Yeah.
They love her, they ain't gonna fake it.
Yeah, what's it like watching her shit blow up, knowing you guys are from the same city and she's helping shine that spotlight on St. Louis right now too, man?
It's good, like she turned, like, even with the criticism, like, it ain't doing nothing but turning her up. Cause, like, in St. Louis, you ain't really got no choice but to be turned. Like, if you ain't turned, you burnt. Like, you out of here, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she really from that way. Like, in our city, she really from the hood, so, it got me motivated, I ain't gonna lie.
Nah, for real, man. That's what I love to see is like when one artist makes it, kind of just motivates, inspires everyone else for them to see like, all right, this shit possible, man. We can do this shit too, man.
Nah, for real.
Yeah. So what part of St. Louis are you from?
Shit, I'm from the north side, just like Six. I'm from Bay.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Bay, the north side, around neighborhood Crips.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, so just kind of talk about like the culture on the north side, man. What be going on up there?
Man, it get slimy, grimy. Like it prepare you for everything that's gonna come later on in life, for real. You got some like just like everywhere else, you got some good people, you got some bad people, and it's always the good ones in the neighborhood. If you listen, you'll get. If you want something, you listen, you'll get to where you want to go in life. Period. Like it's a good and a bad everywhere. And St. Louis is just a lot of bad. You know what I'm saying? It just. But like I said, you got them thorough ones that's gonna be there for a youngin that's looking to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you look and you find it, you keep trying to look for it, you're gonna find it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get what you want to get out of life.
I got you, man.
Yeah.
All right, so what would you say were some of the keys for you to be able to be successful coming out of, that type of environment then?
Being persistent and not caring about what nobody say. You can't care about what nobody else say or got going because they ain't in your shoes, you know? Like, people, they'll probably like discourage you in your dreams when they dreams ain't nowhere near yours. And they haven't even been through it, so you can't listen to nobody that ain't even in the position that you want to go.
Yeah.
You can't look at somebody on the big screen, be in the hood, looking at a nigga that's hood rich, that's been in and out of jail 3-4 times, and expect to learn from them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have it. You gotta know. You gotta put all your bets, all your coins in the pot, and bet it on you. You know what I'm saying? It's always got to be about you, but at the same time, I'm a team player, so you gotta, have the right ones around you too. Mm-hmm. That matters. You'll go a long way with it.
No, absolutely. I always say like a team's going to take you to that next level. Like
you
could always be successful by yourself, but to like continue to elevate.
A good team, you can do anything. I tell my niggas that all the time. Like I'm good alone for sure. Like I'm gonna handle my business, but if I got 5 people on the same type of time as me, and we trying to get somewhere, it's gonna be 10 times faster. Mm-hmm. Cause I got somebody that can do this. I got another person that can do that. I ain't gotta do everything at once. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's real. Yeah, it's always important to find people that are good at their roles too. To where, like you probably got some good strength, but you also may have a weakness or two. So you find someone on your team that has a strength as your weakness.
For sure. Like I ain't tech savvy. You know what I'm saying? I'm real hands-on though. I got people that's tech savvy though. I got people for that.
Yeah. No,
Like I was listening to an interview, 50 Cent said like he'll pay people to do X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do everything.
no, that's true. Because it also frees you up for a lot of time too.
Yeah, time is everything.
Yep.
Time is everything.
That's the one thing in life you can't get more
You
of.
can't get back. Time is everything. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
No, that's real.
yeah. Money buy you time though. That's why money matter.
No, that's true too.
No cap.
So going back to your childhood, like what were you into as a kid? Were you into sports? Were you always into music? What was you doing as a kid, man?
Man, you know what's crazy, bro? You know when people come home and the street lights come on, your parents say I was not coming home. I was still out. So I learned a lot of stuff at a young age. Like I ain't have to like butt my head too much when I got to my teens, because I already bumped my head a lot growing up in St. Louis. Like you gonna go through that. If you come, you probably, some people like probably got their mama and they got their daddy. Some people got they daddy, not their mama. Some people ain't got none, you know what I'm saying? Some people got both, but even the ones that got both, it's what the kid go through when you go into the neighborhood or when you go to them schools, and all that ties in into one thing at that elementary school. You gotta deal with all them different homes at that school, you know, and a lot of homes be fucked up.
Oh,
I ain't gonna lie, a lot of homes be fucked up, but me, I got the best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? I'd have been around the straight hood, never graduated, to people that graduated, got degrees, diplomas. I know how to adapt.
Yeah.
You just gotta learn how to adapt. Everything a mind game, for real.
No, absolutely, man. Especially even though older as you get, you always gotta adapt to new things too, man.
Yeah, for sure. You never stop learning.
Yeah.
If you can't get taught, you over with.
For real.
Yeah.
So did you finish school or did you drop out? Did you go to college or?
I finished school. I went to a JUCO and I went to Hutchinson, Kansas for football. Football was the only thing that kept me in school, for real. If it weren't for football, man, I would have been on a money mission, for real.
Huh.
But I ran a 4.4. I was 200 flat, running back, like solid. Like I would have been on my way, but my brother got killed, and I came back to the city, and it kind of like my life just changed a little bit. Still, God's still good, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Was that your blood brother or?
Nah, the brother I had grew up with in my hood.
Okay.
He was like the gem of the hood. Like, you know how, some cities, some hoods, just a lot of hoods, it just be like full of chaos. But you have a person like Boosie that wanna like go to another level in life, and he a team player. Like you see, his hood was in all his videos growing up. You know what I'm saying? I grew up listening to Future, Boosie, Gucci Man, Rocco. Like it was all a hood thing. Like the trap doing numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like that requires more than you. It requires your hood to be a part of something. It's all about being a team player, for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
How did his death affect you then?
It changed me for the better, for real. I just learned you can't be loose, can't get nobody like the benefit of the doubt. You gotta always be on a swivel, always think that, you know what I'm saying, anything can happen at any moment. And you just can't take a lot of stuff for granted, for real.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Yeah. How old were you when you jumped off the porch?
Probably like 6.
Oh, wow, that early, huh?
Went from stealing pits in my hood to becoming a pit. No cap.
So jumping off the porch at 6 years old, man. Talk about, some of the trials and tribulations you've gone through,
Like,
man.
in the north side of St. Louis, man, I used to, like, real shit, like, elementary school, I used to walk, my old dude paralyzed. My mama on that booger sugar, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to walk to the store for my old dude in elementary school in Baden from I'm talking about like 2 miles, and walk back to grab some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like imagine trying to go to school, and then in this middle school I'm talking about, like 7th grade, 8th grade. I didn't even go to 7th grade year. I dropped out for a whole year for 7th grade. Imagine going to school and then like you gotta carry your gun to school because people getting cracked, trying to go to school, waiting at the bus stop. Like I'm talking about consecutive days in a row. It's like wars going on in the hood. Like people really getting killed, innocent people getting killed because one hood got into another hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that shit happen all the time, almost every day. So, shit. Did you grow up like that?
Nah.
A lot of people haven't.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just, you know, you just hit different.
Nah, absolutely.
Like to be in this spot, in this position, just in this position right here, like, it hit different. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, so how blessed do you feel to be able to make it out of that environment then?
Words can't describe, you know what I'm saying? You gotta, I'm a real firm believer in God, you know what I'm saying? Just a higher power and just period. So, like, you know, it just, you ain't gotta try too hard, you just already got it when you really came from that, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
And I saw a post recently that you was giving back to the community too, like giving out some money for some families in need also.
Yeah, I gave $500 to like 7 families that really need it. And if you know 7, that's like the lucky number.
You talk there.
You know, it got something to do with God. He rose in 7 days, so you know, I just like I say, I don't play about my about the higher power. I don't play about God. So I just be trying to do stuff to have a positive impact on the city instead of just talking about, you know, shooting cribs up and shooting my nigga mama or something, shooting a nigga at his house. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff really happens, you know what I'm saying? But I be trying to like show the youth to go a different route.
Yeah, just kind of like change the narrative of the city too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like when they see you giving back, that may want to inspire them to even give back too when they make it also.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta be who you needed when you was younger. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to be that person to the youth, cause the youth, that's really the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, shoot, a youth to get you rich. The youth to empower you in many ways you don't even know. Like they gonna be 10 times more advanced because they growing up in all the, you know, they growing up in time. They in present time, so they gonna know a lot of stuff that's especially from the media. They gonna know a lot of things. They gonna teach you some stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because you know they gonna be more out active and stuff.
No, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the streets today, and how does it compare to like when you was coming up?
The streets, man. Streets over with. Like, man, it ain't no, in my city, I'm gonna speak for my city alone. It ain't no guidance, it ain't a lot of rules, like, out of like, probably 100% of the population, probably 10% really stick to morals and play the game how it's supposed to be played. And then that 90%, shit, you gotta stay out the way. You gotta stay out their way, bro, cause they ain't like, it's like they ain't, I don't know, they just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. And it's like, you get it cause you come from it. Like, a lot of stuff can't be avoided, you know? Like, cause it's too many broken families in the hood, so you just gotta like, adapt. You just gotta like know who to be around, know who not to be around. It's really about isolation. You gotta stay away from a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? In order to progress, cause if you don't, you're gonna be another crab in a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it seems like social media has shined a light on, you know, like the snitching culture. I feel like it wasn't always this bad, but it seems like these days that shit's out of hand right now.
Man, like it's like people like cool with that shit now. You know what I'm saying? You know, I keep them away. Like I say, isolation. Like I don't move. I don't talk. I don't be around a lot of people. I gotta genuinely mess with you for you to be around me. So when it comes to snitching and shit, I really don't hear a lot of stuff. Like, I've been heard, but I'm not gonna hear. I'm gonna keep doing me. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as the nigga ain't around me snitching, shit, I don't care. Cause he can't snitch on me cause he's not around me. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true. It's gotta learn to just, well, most people gotta learn to just keep their business off social media also, man.
Facts. A lot of stuff be for clout. A lot of people be chasing clout. Attention, the worst drug out here. So I just let people do them, I do me.
Nah, for real. So switching over to the music, how long you been rapping? Is this something you've been doing, or is it something you just jumped into? Or?
I just started rapping, like, really taking it serious probably like 5 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't been rapping for long at all.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I used to rap and just keep songs in my phone, but I never posted it or, you know, went viral with it or nothing like that. Cause I ain't wanna be faking. I ain't wanna come in the game talking about stuff I'm not doing or talking about stuff I don't even know about, you know what I'm saying? I had to get me first before I could even start coming out and rapping and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5 months ago, what inspired you to say, all right, you know, let me put 2 feet into this shit, man?
I turned up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really did got some real stuff going for me to the point where, like, a lot of this stuff that I'm doing, it ain't shit. Like, God blessed me to the point where I'm good. Like, my people straight. I can go travel for 5-7 days, weeks at a time, and still handle stuff at home. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be worried about nothing that's going on at home because I got to handle. I got good people too on my. I got a nice ass circle. Like, I got a thorough ass circle. Like, I know for a fact 4 or 5 people in my circle, if anything go wrong, I know they got it. Like, no questions asked.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's really about who are you surround yourself with, who you got by you. Cause, man, you gotta really you gotta really tune in to God too, cause God gonna put everything in front of you. He gonna give you all the tools. You just gonna have to work, you know what I'm saying? You gotta put the footwork in. He gonna give you all the tools though.
Yeah, no, that's true, yeah. So like, were your people around you, were they encouraging you to rap, or were they surprised when you popped up and, you know, started dropping songs like this?
Nobody encouraged me to rap. I did it myself. But when I did it, they was like behind me 100 grand. Like, you know, we ain't doing nothing that ain't gonna make sense, or we feel like it ain't going nowhere. I actually see progress in this from the day I dropped, cause I really know I'm really somebody in my city. Like, the city know me. A lot of people know me, you know, for good things though. You know what I'm saying? I got a good face card, a good name in my city, so sure. When I did, it just automatically just went up because I was already out here. I already knew a lot of people.
I got you.
You know, I ain't had to make no diss song or nothing to get over. I ain't try to go viral in the wrong way. I came out talking about real shit.
Yeah.
Putting your team on, like, you know what I'm saying? Getting money with your family. Staying away from sucker ducking. Staying away from these suckers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like that motivational music that's lacking these days. Huh?
Get money music, you know what I'm saying? Like, something that's gonna drive you to do better. Like, you can still be turned, you can still be about that shit, but you can still be about your business first. You know what I'm saying? Standing on principles and morals.
Yeah. How'd you get the name Stone, or who gave you that?
Switch to Chrome to stay in sync across devices, so your tabs go everywhere you go.
My hood is the Stone in Baden. That's where I grew up in. So when I went to the county, that's when I was, like I said, when I was a kid, I was real big on all that street shit. So people just start calling me Stone, because they always known me from being from the Stone. Oh, that nigga Stone, I'm stoned out, stone this, stone that. So people just really started calling me that for real. I ain't gonna lie. Because in my hood, my shit, I'm Lil C, I'm Mike Vick. Like I said, when I was a kid, I used to steal dogs for the big homies and shit. So, you know, and I played football, I was good at football, so they called me Mike Vick. So the streets really called me Stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Show off the chain, man. That shit hard right there, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all baguettes. That's spaghettis independent, spaghettis in a Cuban. You know what I'm saying? Nice amount. You do like you look up like a new ball CTSV, that's probably what this chain worth. You know, God, like I say, God good though. You know, it ain't about me. It's way bigger than me. I'm just a person in the flesh. I'm just trying to, you know, I'm just here to do my job, man, for real.
Yeah. And that's from Iceman Nick out there in Houston?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, my boy Nick. Shout out to Iceman Nick, man. You turned me up. I don't know my name, they calling me handsome, I promise. You know?
It's like a statement piece, you know?
Yeah. They said to take, you know, that's the first thing they want you to do is get some J when you get in the rap game.
Nah, for real.
For real, that's like a little threshold for the rappers.
Yo. So what's your creative process like when you hit the studio? Do you write your raps, you punch in, do a little bit of both, or what?
I just punch in, I don't never write. I just say what comes to my head, and I just put it on there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best way to do that. You know what I'm saying? Cause I say some hard shit, that not write it down, and like I listen to the beat, say some hard shit, say some hard ass shit, and then forget about it. So instead of doing that, I just go in the studio, put the beat on, and start up like jump off just like that.
Yeah. So what inspires you to hit the booth today?
What inspires me to hit the booth? Sure. Just trying to get to the people's heads, like turn them up, say some shit, but say the right shit too. Like music influence, like I said, I grew up listening to Future, Rocco, Gucci, Gotti for sure, X, Y, and Z, like, and like they gonna talk, but they gonna talk about some shit that's gonna put you in position too. You know what I'm saying? Like Gotti a boss, he been a boss for years, real deal and active in the streets. So, and I seen him come to my city. You know what I'm saying? Like I know a lot of stuff. So, like coming from the same environment all these rappers came from, it'll motivate you when they talking about your life in the songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Does that, are you interested in like being a label owner as well then? Like starting your own shit and putting other artists on, or?
Hell yeah. If that's how life gonna go on down the line, I'll do that for sure. Cause I'm a man of business. Like that's the only reason I'm here. Like I handle my business for sure, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be interested in it, I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. All right, so we touched on it briefly, but like what's your thoughts on the music scene in St. Louis right now today, man?
I ain't gonna fake it, I feel like the city lit. I just feel like the world ain't see it yet. Like, it's been rappers that been rapping for years that's, you know, in the city. It's just the streets got them on the hold. House arrest, Fed papers, you can't travel, you know what I'm saying? Being in and out of jail because you gotta provide in the streets. Like, I feel like it's a few people that should have been on in the city, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, you know, life for them right now. So they can't even be out to even still create and do stuff because, you know what I'm saying? How the system got us in and out, got us with restrictions and shit, man. But I ain't gonna lie, my city turned though. My city turned.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's starting to want that sound, that high-speed music sound right now, too.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All right, so, you know, you got a bunch of videos out, man. Let's start talking about some of these, man. I fuck with that running laps. That shit hard as fuck.
Running laps, you fuck with that? Right on. Yeah, all facts. Like I said, I just be in the booth just saying whatever come to my head. No cap. Yeah, running laps. See, all my life I just been running laps. How I graduated playing football, went to selling crack.
Yeah.
I stayed consistent. I stacked my first 10s and I ain't looked back. Yeah, that was a turn little video for me. But I feel like every video I got out right now, that ain't even like, that was like literally my beginning phase. Like all these songs I got coming out right now, that's the real song. You know what I'm saying? I got comfortable with it now, so it's on the way for sure.
What's the next one you plan to drop then? What do you got tucked away? Or
I got something called Split It.
Okay.
Yeah, some real trap shit. It's a Gucci Man beat that my boy Rari mixed up and shit. and a bitch turned. So it's coming soon, man.
Yeah. I understand you and Skilla Baby got something on the way too, right?
Yeah, me and Skilla had got in the lab when he had came and did a show in my city and shit. I fucked with him for until he left out. Me and my boy, I got my boy Tay Money from the D. He really tied in with Skilla. That's his boy, so we just made it happen as soon as he had touchdown. Yeah.
So what was that session like? What were the vibes like in there?
He rap just like me. He punch in whatever come to his mind. Boom, bang, bow. Like, I fuck with Skilla. He's cool peoples.
Yeah, he real laid back and humble too.
Yeah, on God. Yeah. Yeah, he embrace people, you know. he ain't too cocky or nothing like that. Yeah.
And who are some of the producers you've been working with lately?
Rory, my boy Breaks, my boy Dobbs, my boy M. Beezy, all like, you know, well-known people out of my city.
Okay.
Yeah, they get me together. They you know, them people that taught me a lot of stuff when it come to rapping. Yeah.
So how would you describe your growth as an artist, you know, from when you first started rapping up until today then?
I feel like I'm turned. I feel like the city or the world don't even know what's finna hit them. Like, I ain't gonna fake it. Like, I feel like I progressed a lot just within the 5 months of rapping.
Yeah.
Cause if I ain't gonna fake it, if it didn't make sense, I wouldn't kept doing. I wouldn't even be here. You know what I'm saying? But.
All right, squad. One I was trying to make, man, it looked like St. Louis spinning the block again. They won back in the rap game, and sound like he using old Sexy Red to get in there. Which ain't, you know, somebody got to come out to Sexy Red. But, you know, shout out to Sexy Red. Salute to St. Louis. Let's keep it moving, man. Let me do something about this right here. Yeah, like I say, man, salute to Sexy Red, whatnot. You know, keep it moving, man. Old Keefe D. Keefe D back in the courtroom, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Keefe D is the alleged killer of Tupac. Probably 5-year-old. I've heard this story by now. But anyway, man, Keefe D back in the courtroom, man. He's spazzing out. Keefe D, he tired of the lawyers talking for him. Keefe D told them people, hey, what over with? I got something to say. But man, I'm gonna let y'all check it out, man. You know, this seems to be what I'm getting off into the courtroom anyway, and I've been following up on this Keefe D. And if you want to bring yourself up to speed, man, look through my videos, type in Keefe D, Tupac. He should pop up and bring yourself up to speed on it. But anyway, man. So I wanted to get this, but I had some other little stories. I said, man, I'm gonna go live and do all this and dump all this off my this off my
377-407. We have Mr. Arnold appearing for Mr. Davis, who's present in custody. Additionally, we have Mr. Giacomo and Mr. Kowal for the state. This is on for defendant's motion for reconsideration and reinstatement of previous bond. It's also on for a status check discovery. And then I think the state could also file a counter motion for me to reconsider my ruling that there was not proof evident presumption. Great. Accurate?
That's right.
All right. Mr. Arnold, your motion to reconsider
and reinstate bond. I voided the bond on 6/24/24, so there's no bond posted. What is there to reinstate? How would that even work?
I believe you vacated the bond. The bond bailsman, who I believe is on the line, said that the bond was still posted. If it's not, we can repost it immediately, but I don't believe it, because the language that you use, it never came off, so they still have the actual
So it went
bond.
back to them, but ultimately they haven't returned it to the person who posted it.
Correct.
Okay. So did you want to be heard any further then on the motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
First, I'm going to do argument and then also take testimony from Cash. Did you want me to use this, Your Honor?
That is
No.
media.
Oh.
Actually, Mr. Arnold, if you, because of the last one that I typed, if you could stay at your table because.
Oh,
they
okay,
have
this
the
is
same
not-
mic As Cash,
Oh, okay.
so if, I can separate them, it's easier if you stay back.
Great.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, Your Honor, looking at the first comments that you made at the initial source hearing, on page 3, you said the purpose of the source hearing was to ensure the bond was not posted with proceeds when talking about the murder or killing of Tupac. There was no evidence at that source hearing that Mr. Davis was paid any proceeds for the murder of Tupac. He has been paid in the past through a book, through social media accounts, etc. The only evidence that we had at the source hearing was a prospective payment. And Mr. Jones was very adamant that there was no contract between those two yet. And so it was prospective in regards to his life story. The state made comments in regards to, well, the only thing that people would be interested in regards to his life story is basically in regards to Tupac, and that's simply not true. I mean, Mr. Palal has read the books as well as I have. His life story, he was one of the most notorious gang leaders of all of Southern California. He ruled Compton. He was the godfather of Compton. Basically, he had a drug trade that extended from here to New York to Little Rock, Arkansas. He was doing 350 kilos at a time with the Mexican cartel. There's many aspects of his life that are relevant and interesting to the community other than the death of Tupac Shakur.
A lot of my initial ruling really focused on the sufficiency of the documents and proof ultimately that this was not obtained through illegal sources. It was because the documents gave me so many questions about where those wire transfers came from, where those counter deposits came from, $50,000 deposited at counters, and typical, what we're seeing. Additionally, when you go into his drug history and things like that. So we're really looking at, is this a bond that was posted through legitimate sources? And
Right.
so that's why I was looking more into the bank records. And that's really the first part and the largest part of my ruling. I mean, I have
Okay.
concerns ultimately about the profiting off of Tupac's death, but I think my authority is somewhat limited
Right.
to, in the source hearing, to determining whether it's legal or illegal.
Right.
And so
in Your Honor, in regards to...
you gave me the June records.
Right.
The bond premium was wire transferred out on June 11th. I see a transfer in right before that of $112,000 and $500 wire transferred in on June 11th and then immediately taken out in 2 separate payments. You provided me a check to show a portion of the payment, and the rest was, I do see, wired out in the records. I don't see that check that you provided me even coming out of the bank account.
It has not yet, Your Honor. And again, we have the Mr. Jones and the Bell's bond on there. What they had agreed to was pending Your Honor's ruling. He was simply going to hold on to the check, which there's funds in the bank to cover that check.
Okay.
But he was going to hold on to the check until the court approved the ruling and then go ahead and cash it.
So my question ultimately is, where does that $112,500 transfer come from? Because given your client's own words, Mr. Jones was a front or middleman for this money, and so ultimately if I know who that came from, that would give me more peace of mind.
Right, and we did provide the court with the actual company that the check came from. And that was the Agent Entertainment Touring Group. And you can see that notation in the June 11th transfer out of the bank. It says AG Entertainment Touring.
Okay.
Now this is a client of Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones would testify that he received this money. This was money owed to him. He asked for that specific amount of $112,500 on the basis that he knew that he was going to use that money to pay the bill. They owe him more than that, but that was a payment that they made to his account.
Okay, anything else?
And so in regards to whether those monies came from a legitimate source, I think you have all the information there. We have a legitimate bank account. We have a legitimate business. He received the funds from another legitimate business. Your Honor can even review their website at www.agententertainment.com. It's a legitimate transaction between 100 Entertainment and AG Entertainment Touring. And he decided to use that money. In regards to any restrictions that that money is for his life story, again, as Your Honor just noted, it's very limited that at this point, since he's not convicted, you cannot tell Mr. Davis he cannot receive those monies. He can receive any monies in regards to this crime until he's convicted. That's well supported by the Nevada case law. It's supported by the statute that the state had previously alleged that they were relying upon, which was 41B200.
Which case law specifically?
No, they didn't mention any case law, but I'll get to the case law. But I was just saying that the state referred to 41B200.
Sure, the Slayer statute.
The Slayer statute, which says it has to be a convicted killer. But the case law that we are referring to is the Sears v. Lerner case. Let me get you the site.
Okay.
That's 120 Nevada 930 2004. In that case, it was a discussion in regards to the statute NRS 217.007. That statute was found to be over-inclusive.
Can I get that site again? Did you say
Yes.
120 Nevada 930?
930 2004.
Nothing comes up.
Wow, I just built the most amazing workflow on Monday.com.
You build your own workflow? Why? There are
Nevada is for Nevada versus Beers? The only thing that's
Sears v. Lerner. Sears is SERES versus Lerner. I could double check the site.
Okay.
You want to criticize me about
But again,
commercial
in that case,
donation?
it was discussing NRS 217.007. The court found that statute to be over-inclusive. And that statute was the right of a victim to receive proceeds from material based upon or related to a crime. The reason why the court found it over-inclusive was because it did not restrict the realm of possible defendants to just convicted felons. Additionally, in that case, in the Sears case, I believe on page 939, excuse me. On page 939, the Nevada Supreme Court cited to the United States Supreme Court of Simon v. Schuster. Simon and Schuster, discussing the Son of Sam statute in New York, voided a provision which denied the recovery of proceeds from telling a story by any person who has voluntarily and intelligently admitted to the commission of a crime for which such a person is not convicted. So basically, the United States Supreme Court threw out a statute on the basis that a person can admit to a crime, but if he's not convicted of the crime, he can still reap financial benefits from that crime. Sears also held that in their decision to find NRS 217.007 as over-inclusive. The constitutional analysis that has to be made in this case is a strict scrutiny analysis, because basically with that court's ruling that he cannot benefit from the proceeds of talking about the murder, there has to be a strict scrutiny analysis because it violates his freedom of speech rights. And for there to be a violation of freedom of speech rights, the courts have said in a strict scrutiny analysis, number one, the state has to state a compelling interest, number one. I couldn't figure out what the state's compelling interest is in this one, but mostly I was thinking it was probably because of the victim, but I'll leave the state to go ahead and address that, the victim's being compensated. I'll let the state assert what its compelling interest is. But then, after it asserts it, we have to see if the court's ruling order is narrowly tailored to go ahead and affect that outcome. And we don't believe it is, because basically, at this point, what we have derived from the court's ruling is he cannot talk about his life story, which he can't. The only victim, because Mr. Shakur has no living heirs at this point.
So to analogize this to another constitutional right, for example, freedom to associate. I can, as a condition of bond, I can restrict someone's ability to contact, for example, the victim or children under 18 or things like that. And so as a condition of bond, in order to meet those two goals of bond, ultimately the court has greater discretion in fashioning release conditions. And so I think ultimately, to cut to the chase, that's the state's argument, is that this is a condition of bond. And the argument that they have is that this is a condition of bond similar to that. And so it's not a situation where, you know, a family member or somebody is posting the bond to ensure the safety of the community, or to ensure that he comes back. And so really the conditions of bond are not met, or the ultimate goals of bond are not met by Mr. Jones posting this one.
Right. And the argument that they presented now was that the condition of bond is that the court has stated is being used to protect the community. Because obviously it's not to ensure his presence. They have other things to ensure his presence, house arrest and the electronic monitoring. But to protect the community has already been exposed to his life story. They've been exposed to his different recollections of what occurred that night. The community is not being harmed in any way, fashion whatsoever by him telling.
I'm gonna say this, squad. The man been out since the crime went on. almost 30 years. And y'all arguing about giving him bond or bail. This is crazy, man. The whole court system, man. The more I watch these cases, the crazier I realize, or really just how messed up our system is. But nevertheless, man, I'm gonna keep it moving.
The harm is probably more future criminality or injury to potential witnesses, as was argued at first, than the community being exposed to the story.
But again, all of that has been discussed in regards to his different videos that he's done, to his book, that has been discussed. So there's no additional harm that can be done. What I think would be a better order by the court, if I may recommend such, is that there be a gag order on Mr. Davis from having any conversations in regards to Mr. Tupac. It should not be publicized, printed, disseminated in any fashion until after the conclusion of the trial. This whole order that prevents him from being able to collect money, like I said, it's an infringement on his right of freedom of speech. It drags us down a quagmire that we don't need to be dragged down.
But if I enter a gag order, isn't that implicating those exact same rights that you just asked me not to?
Right, but I think it's narrowly tailored because, again, remember how I started off, that Mr. Jones wanted a 10-part series. That 10-part series, I would imagine one of the episodes in that 10-part series would include the Shakur slaying, but there's many other things and interesting life events, crime stories, etc., that Mr. Davis can discuss. And so, do you see the distinction, Your Honor? The life story and just discussion in regards to Tupac Shakur.
I mean, I've read so many things, I don't know if they're true necessarily, but it seems like your end goal here is to make some sort of show on the prep for this trial, according to news articles that have been sent to me.
Like again, you read so many things about it. That's not my
quote to the Sun is not accurate.
That's not my end goal here, Your Honor. My end goal is to win the trial. Okay. Whether they want to follow me with cameras, they can do that. Are we going to benefit by that? I promise you, as an officer of the court, we have not signed a contract, nor have we been given any financial incentive to do something like that, Your Honor.
Okay. This case isn't going to be your legacy. Okay, you may continue, Mr. Blum.
Yes, Your Honor. So, just to focus on what this court actually ordered. So the court may reach two orders. This is a motion to reconsider, right? So to bring it back to what this court ordered, the first finding of this court was that the defendant failed to make a prima facie case that the funds were from a legitimate source. Your Honor, first I would suggest that a preponderance is probably the state would suggest a preponderance, but even if we were using prima facie...
And I'll let you know why I went with that, because ultimately there was some disagreement. Mm-hmm. We don't have a statute for source hearings. There was some disagreement among the states of what the standard was. And as you know, prima facie is much lower than preponderance. And so ultimately I used the lower standard, so ultimately it would be encompassing both standards. I honestly, would welcome some guidance on what the standard should be for this hearing, because I'm sort of flying blind on this thing, but at the same time, that's ultimately why I fashioned that. And so I understand your argument, but ultimately that was something I did consider.
But yes, and what I think is very telling, though, is that after taking evidence for sworn testimony from Mr. Jones and Mr. Davis, the defendant couldn't even make the lowest threshold of prima facie case that this came from a legitimate source. So, I mean, and the reason still remains true. Defendant's statement to his wife that Mr. Jones was a middleman, I think this court really has to consider. Also, as we provided exhibits, it wasn't just some spontaneous lie that he told his wife, as was proffered to this court at the last source hearing. Instead, these schemes, these plans, these attempts to deceive the court have been going on for months and months, laid out on jail calls over and over. Hey, we're going to use this person as a front. We'll use that person as a front. This person doesn't want to testify, so we've got to get somebody that will testify. And the sample I gave to the court is just that, a mere sample, a mere sprinkling of the scheming that has been going on by Mr. Davis in order to deceive this court as to where the source of the funds come from. And so, the other point I'd make is Mr. Jones lacks any credibility whatsoever based on the evidence that we've heard. Your Honor, I would go so far as to say that he perjured himself. And the reason why is, let's look at the evolution of Mr. Jones's positions. The letter he offered this court is, this is a gift. And I've known Mr. Davis for a long time. We're good friends for a long time. Then his testimony evolved. It started with when Mr. Arnold asked him, are you receiving any benefit? No, I'm not receiving any benefit. Then it goes, when I ask him, well, is there a contract? It evolves to, well, there's no contract yet. Then when Mr. Arnold asks him about, well, on the jail call, we did hear about a contract. Can you tell us about that? And then Mr. Jones tells an incredible story about what they're actually discussing. Has nothing to do with the murder of Mr. Shakur, but it's about a car that Mr. Davis once held, and he needs to get the title cleared. So that's what he's talking about signing. So, and then this court tried to clarify what Mr. Jones was saying. And Your Honor, you have the transcript. You tell me if you got anything from Mr. Jones's response, because I sure as heck couldn't figure it out. In fact, it's the reason why we asked for the transcript is because, well, maybe I'm not understanding and something meaningful was said. No, it was just nonsensical rambling. And so that's just what happened in court under oath. Now we take the extra court, outside of court statements. We have a jail call that refers to a contract. We have a YouTube interview where he talks about stipulations. We have a Clubhouse interview, or a Clubhouse social media post, where he talks about, hey, I just received this contract, and as a result of this contract, I'm going to be bailing Mr. Jones out, or Mr. Davis out. And then after the hearing, he goes another YouTube interview where he tacitly admits, yeah, so what if I got this from somebody else? What if I told somebody, hey man, I need $112,500 in order to make something happen, and you'll get it back if I can get that money back. That is a remarkable admission that he makes after this court hearing. And Your Honor, whether or not, and I'll address whether or not the legality of the court's requirement, but whether or not Mr. Davis or Mr. Jones agrees with the court's position, they are not allowed to, one, lie, attempt to deceive the court, or two, scheme on jail calls to circumvent this court's rulings. So I don't know what Mr. Jones could tell you that would give this court anything, prima facie, preponderance, anything, to believe that this is from a legitimate source, given Mr. Jones's observable willingness to deceive the court in order to get his deal done. So Mr. Jones has no credibility. Mr. Davis has no credibility when it comes to this, except though I do appreciate Mr. Arnold admitting, conceding that Mr. Davis is a notorious gang leader, that he was the godfather of Compton. I appreciate those admissions, but if anything, I think that should go to the later argument that Mr. Giacomo is going to present, that maybe this court ought to reconsider its positions, given these concessions today. Mr. Arnold's position has always been, you can't trust Mr. Davis because he's not telling the truth. Well, apparently he is telling the truth about being a godfather of Compton, and he is telling the truth about being a notorious gang leader. So, Your Honor, the source of the funds, at least for Mr. Jones, is just not credible. He is not a credible source. Anything that comes through him is not credible, is not reliable. Now, with regards to whether or not the court's has the ability to set conditions on a detention order, I think first and foremost, this court made a finding that a detention order was necessary, right? It wasn't that we're just setting bail. This court found, after a lengthy briefing, lengthy argument, given all the factors required to be considered in NRS 178-4853, that a detention order was necessary to protect the public from Mr. Davis. And so one of the conditions for release was that he may not benefit from Tupac Shakur's killing, right? He may not use proceeds from that to make his bail. And I would submit that this court was correct in doing that, because pursuant to NRS 178-4851, subsection 3, this court can set any condition without limitation as long as it relates to keeping the community safe. And Your Honor, I would argue that a person publicly availing himself of funds from the proceeds of a murder that is still awaiting trial is in fact putting the public in danger. After all, when we were here in January making this argument, one thing the state told the court and reminded the court was that the FBI literally had to move a witness based on credible threats from the defendant. Now we're going to infuse him with more funds from proceeds from killing Mr. Shakur. How does that keep the community safe? It certainly does not conform with this court's finding that a detention order was necessary to protect the community. I would also add, Your Honor, that a gift, even if we were to believe Mr. Jones's original story out of the 4 or 5 he told, even if we go with the original letter, this is a gift, Your Honor, that simply does not meet this court's findings that Mr. Davis presents a danger to the community and requires to be detained. Because the only reason why you set a detention order assured by a monetary amount is because the philosophy that, well, he has at least got some incentive to follow the court's orders based on the monetary penalty he will suffer if he violates his court's rulings, right? Otherwise, there's no point to the cash bail, or to set a bail. And so if he's just being given found money, $112,500, just because, if we were to believe, again, Mr. Jones's first story, just because he's a gift, he's a great guy, I've known him forever, even that, I think, would undermine this court's findings of a detention order being necessary. But that's not what we have here. Lastly, Mr. Arnold, with regards to the First Amendment, what's curious is that Mr. Arnold suggests a gag order which actually does trigger the First Amendment violations that he worries about with the bail, the release restriction. Because a gag order actually does require the strict scrutiny analysis. But a condition of release does not require a strict scrutiny analysis. And as this court aptly pointed out, every court in this courthouse restricts whom a released defendant can associate with, right? And we have that freedom of association, but you can make it as a condition of release as long as you tie it to the safety of the community or the ability to return, or the likelihood to return. And here, Your Honor, there is a close tie to be funding somebody because of their retelling of the crime that they are on trial for and the safety of the community, especially given what we know about Mr. Davis being as Mr. Arnold pointed out, a notorious gang leader and the godfather of Compton gangs. Your Honor, given those concessions, this court ought to be concerned.
A lot of what Mr. Arnold's argument centers on, ultimately in his pleading papers and a little bit of what he's talked about today. We are pre-trial. There's the presumption of innocence at this point. And so, how does the state address that, given that these aren't convictions?
Right.
These are, his story is what got us here.
Right.
And his story, now he's saying, is a total lie.
Right.
And everything that he said is a lie.
Right.
And so, how does the state sort of reconcile those two issues, those two?
Right, and so I guess I made an overly nuanced argument with regard to 42B last time we were here. My point with regards to 42B...
I understand, you can't take the money back.
Yeah,
Once it's gone, once it's posted, it's gone.
Okay, so then if we just go back to the presumption of innocence, sure, Mr. Davis is presumed innocent. But this court was aware of that when it set its orders in January, and that's why we had a whole hearing, and this court created a detention order and a requirement based on the well-considered factors listed out in NRS 4853 about the danger to the community Mr. Davis posed. That's the reason why. That is the reason why he should not be able to profit from talking about his crimes, not because of 42B, but because this court made a finding that he's a danger to the community, and one of the stipulations of his release tied into his danger to the community is that he should not be using funds from the murder of Mr. Shakur to fund his release. One other thing I just want to clarify for the record is that Mr. Arnold stated that Mr. Shakur has no heirs. He does. I believe Miss Shakur, his sister, is on the line. His brother also. They run his estates, and so I just clarification, not for the point of our argument, but just for the clarification purposes. I want to acknowledge them because they've been involved very much through this whole process. But yes, Your Honor, presumably when this court made that order, it made the finding, because this court laid out specifically all the factors, the couple for Mr. Davis, a number against Mr. Davis, and then made its ruling that he should not use those proceeds. And I would assume that's because this court believed, as the state believes, that using funds from the proceeds of the murder does not protect the community.
Mr. Arnold, did you want to respond to any of those points before I move to the state's counter motion?
Yes, Your Honor. Specifically, it seems that this is not a matter of protection to the community or ensuring his presence. What the state is asking for Your Honor to do is simply that my client not make any money off of this case. There's no legal authority that they have cited to that disallows my client from making money on this case. Right now, his son, myself, even he can enter into a contract with any media entity and make money on this case. The court cannot prevent him from doing that, and no one has access to those proceeds until he is convicted on this case. That is just the law. And so why is a bail condition going to his ability to make money? Next, the state says, well, this is a gift, and so there's no repercussions. There's probably been 80 people bailed out this morning. Most of it is a gift, Your Honor. It's going to come from the mother, the father, the spouse at times.
For most businesses, hiring can take a long time. Not for Susan, though. She uses ZipRecruiter.
A lot of people are getting gifts to pay for the bail.
If my mom bails me out, I don't want her to lose her house.
Right.
If some guy that I think is a front and a bad dude, his words, not mine, bails me out, I don't really care if he loses his money. And so that's, I think, my big concern with that point. I mean, there's other concerns.
Right, but that individual, Mr. Jones, he has recourse against Mr. Davis should Mr. Davis flee or not show up to his court appearances. But he has no reason not to show up for his court appearances, for the simple fact is that's part of the story, Your Honor. That does not make sense.
Talking in circles here. So it's both about, his life story is not about the Tupac murder, but also it's only about the Tupac trial. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Because that's his reason for coming back.
What I'm saying is, Your Honor, the life story of my client is separate from the murder of Tupac.
But the only thing that drives him to come back to court would be that he can only profit from a deal if he's either convicted or not convicted or goes to trial in some way. That's just what you said.
No, that's not what I meant.
Okay.
Because the reason why he's coming back is to find himself not guilty on this case. He has plenty of incentive to come back. He's not going anywhere, and you have set the parameters to make sure we know of his whereabouts at all times. That ensures his presence.
Okay.
Additionally, you said in regards to a Nebia hearing that you needed guidance. Many Nebia hearings that we've done on the federal level as an assistant U.S. attorney, what we were trying to determine is whether those funds came from an illegal source. Did they come up from some made-up corporation? Did they come from a legitimate bank account? Or there are records to indicate that this was a legitimate business? Those were the factors that we were trying to get from the source here.
Right, in the federal court, but we don't have any sort of statute or case that says anything about what our source hearings look like.
Right, but we do have those concerns met in this instance. That is, we have a legitimate business, number one. We have entity, 100 Entertainment, that has been in business prior to the beginning of this case. We have another entity, AG Entertainment Touring, that was in existence prior to the beginning of this case. They made payment to 100 Entertainment in the amount of the bail. Again, for reasons known to Mr. Jones, he asked for that specific amount, and there's nothing illegitimate that the state has pointed out in regards to that transaction. And so, since there's nothing illegitimate about that transaction, that satisfies the requirements for the Nebia hearing. Him being a notorious gang leader, that shouldn't deter the court from allowing him to be free. He was a notorious gang leader in 2008. Those days are long gone. He was a law-abiding citizen for many years here in Las Vegas. And so, he should be able to go back and again tell those stories. We are not protecting the public from anything. What we have to do again is to make sure that he's going to be present, number one, and that number two, that the community is going to be safe. He has not violated the law in any way. He hasn't put out a hit. We don't know the validity of this FBI moving a witness and how that witness was going to be in danger. There's no indication that Mr. Davis has any power with any gang or any people out there to go ahead and order a hit or anything like that. And so those are all speculation by the state and should not be considered in a Nebia hearing, which should just be the focus. Do we have legitimate sources?
Okay. State, did you want to be heard regarding your counter?
Yes, Judge. And I'll be brief as it relates to that. Yeah, there has been a significant change in circumstances. You know, obviously the state disagreed with the court's prior ruling, but I think there was probably two reasons behind it. One was, look, there's a number of statements by the defendant, but what exactly is the corroboration? And then the other one is one I don't quite grasp from a legal standpoint. But the temporal relationship between the arrest and the crime, right? That 27 years.
Kind of something about it. But when you look at our motion to reconsider, there's only one temporal relationship that really matters, which is in 2006, there is a live witness who puts the four people the suspect says in Las Vegas leaving to go harm Suge and Tupac Shakur. That witness is corroborated by records from a hotel that establishes he was here, and we know that he's a member of this gang. But the most important temporal relationship here is he makes that statement 2 years before any confession the defendant ever made. And that's the reason why I put the 2008 in there, and I know there may be some litigation about what exactly that 2008 statement may or may not be used for. But certainly in 2009, when he makes a fully admissible confession to those facts, he puts the same four people in the car that an eyewitness has him leaving a bar to go harm Tupac and Suge on the night in question. So now it's not just a guy who's confessed 37,000 times to killing Tupac Shakur. You now have corroboration long before he ever said that from a witness that he wouldn't have known would said that gives the exact same factual pattern. And I suggest to you, there are a few cases where you can get a full confession and not have the proof as evidence presumption is great. I understand why in this case the court probably had some reticence. But now that we know that there is a live witness that places Mr. Davis with the 3 other suspects leaving to harm Mr. Shakur long before he ever confessed, the proof has to be evident and the presumption must be great at this point, and I would submit it to the court.
Can you just answer for me why this wasn't presented at the bail hearing?
I can't. We didn't have these records. There was, I don't want to say a lack of cooperation necessarily from law enforcement in other jurisdictions during the course of this, but this has been a highly complex situation involving Christopher Wallace, the lawsuits, and getting those records. Ultimately, we just received, as I put in the motion, we just received, between the time of the last bail hearing and the time of this court, this particular hearing, we just received an enormous amount of records that we supplied over to Mr. Arnold from the Christopher Wallace investigation. And this report was within those thousands and thousands of pages that we had. And then we went out, there are other confirming people, but the only one we can establish that this witness is currently still alive at this point is this particular witness. There are other things that fully corroborate the story that Mr. Davis said long before Mr. Davis ever said them. It's just, at this point, we have not yet confirmed that we have a live witness that can actually testify to it. And I put that in the motion as well.
Okay. Mr. Arnold.
I didn't understand that last part. We're talking about Corey Edwards, right?
That's the witness that we...
Right. And he's not alive?
He's alive.
Oh, okay. And so, in regards to Mr. Edwards, again, gave a statement in 2006 that he identified the 4 people that were in the car and he identified them in Vegas. That is not a change of circumstances in regards to this case that was under the meaning of the Nevada Rule 7B that the court can reconsider its bail. Basically, all he did was corroborate what has been said by Mr. Davis in his multiple interviews and by the state in their presentation of the case. And so a corroborating witness, that happens all the time. It shouldn't cause the court to go back and review its bail. Mr. Edwards, he's not reliable. He made this almost 10 years, this statement 10 years after the incident. And so, bottom line, he could have heard that through hearsay, rumors. I don't know how he came up with this information, but that's subject to cross-examination at the time of trial, and it shouldn't be considered here to look at the bail again. Again, as you stated, Your Honor, he has a presumption of innocence. We should be allowed to discuss that presumption of innocence at the time of trial, but still, we can't just shirk it aside for the sake of this statute of Nevada that allows us to look at this presumption. You already made your decision on that, and we ask that you abide by that decision and remember that my client is presumed innocent.
All right. Excellent arguments on both sides. Ultimately, this is a little bit more wide-ranging, especially from the defense perspective, of what was covered in the briefing. So there's a couple things I need to look at before I issue an order, okay?
One last thing, Your Honor, I apologize. Someone provided me with the site. It was 102 Nevada 928. I apologize.
I did find that one.
Oh, okay.
So thank you, though. Thanks for looking that up. All right, I'll let you guys know the next day or two. My opinion, my decision regarding vote. Thank you. We talked a little bit about discovery. Anything else you think that Christopher Wallace discovery seems pretty wide-ranging?
I think we have turned over everything. We do have one last thing that was turned over to us that we need to review. I don't think it has anything relevant to Mr. Shakur's murder. It involves a totally different case, but I just want to, and I've gone through about 2/3 of it. Haven't seen anything that we need to disclose. But I mean, I'm working diligently to make sure that even through this unrelated case file, it was turned over to us. So I want to go through it and personally make sure that Mr. Arnold does anything that would be exculpatory or inculpatory.
Okay. Mr. Arnold, how are you progressing toward that November 3rd trial date?
I'm concerned about this box. I just want to see it. I mean, we just got the box, the Greg Keating box that he was talking about. We're going through it. We should have our review done before the end of the summer. I'm just concerned another box comes and we have to do further investigation on that.
So as we sit right now, are you ready for that date? Because I have a death penalty case trailing.
Can I say 30 more days and then make that
We'll do a
determination?
30-day status check then on trial readiness. And
That'll be August 20th and
May I address the court?
I think we're done.
I got something to say.
You want to say Mr. Arnold, and he can say, he represents you, so ultimately you represent yourself, you can talk at will, but if somebody
Mr.
represents you.
Greg Caden had them boxes at his house for 15 years in his attic, doing all kind of TV interviews. The boxes should not be allowed in the
He's
cases.
just gonna talk about it.
Yeah, the boxes should not be allowed. The tainted evidence, everything. The man, he broke a proffer agreement, and he broke the law, all kind of stuff. The boxes should not be allowed. They've been at his house for 15 years, and he's doing interviews, going in the boxes. Let me see here. Ooh, you can see it on any internet site that this man been going in the boxes for years. And he's and a judge, federal judge in LA did a 142-page thing about him. Look it up on the internet.
So I think what the state said ultimately is that they don't think there's gonna be anything in those boxes that they're gonna use. Is that
They
right?
just used something in the boxes. They just used something in the boxes from 1996, and they know they did it.
Yeah, no, it's certainly we are.
They're not only ugly on the outside, but they're ugly on the inside. They crashed my family in this. They did my daughter first. They did my son. Then they just did my wife the last year. What's the name told me about these. David Westbrook told me about these dudes. He said they're not only ugly on the outside, but they ugly on the inside too. These two dudes right here.
All right. At this point, there's nothing before me to exclude any sort of evidence. There's been no motion filed about the proffer. I don't know if Mr. Arnold plans on challenging that or not. Ultimately, that decision is up to him. So we'll see you guys back on that 30-day date.
that was August 20th at 9 a.m.
All right. At that time, we need to know if we're gonna go on the 3rd.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Page
Man, yeah, I heard Keefe D say, man, these people not only ugly on the outside, they ugly on the inside too. Man, this is Mr. Follow Up. This is Fly High Productions. Appreciate you rocking with me over here. Make sure you share this live with your favorite cousins. Tell them to share it with their favorite cousins. And if y'all don't like it, share it with the ops. Point I'm trying to make is share my shit. Salute. I'm out. Squad up.